we're not managing. The people who suffer are in the audience. And the question becomes, it is easy to say we should prevent, but if you do not make mammography cheaper, pap smears cheaper, the vaccine cheaper, then even prevention does not work. So in many ways, the burden is then shifted from the government to the populace, and we are not managing well.
Thank you for that. And we've talked about misdiagnosis. We've talked about late diagnosis. What can we do as a country going forward?
You know, we are here at Nairobi University that has a medical school. We have a colleague here from Nairobi University. I heard all three patients talk about misdiagnosis by physicians who are trained in our country, who do mammographies, we do MRIs and CAT scans only to just push the patient another, kick the can down the road. So we need to go back to the Nairobi universities, Kenya University for that matter, Kenyatta University, to say, what is the curriculum of physicians that we train in this country? Is the medicine that we give to our physicians the best knowledge we have? Or is it that they forget so quickly that when the patient comes to the door, they just reap their money, their funds, but the poor patient is left to carry the bag? So then I was asked my colleague, what is the curriculum that we have in this country for training physicians to provide adequate care?
AgCan appears to be doing rather too well, without perhaps going into the details of what has been launched, a PET scan, and the activities that are playing out there. I think it paints a picture of just how the private sector is committed to this. Most of the times the government has been pointed fingers at with the allegations that they are reactionary in nature, that when we find maybe a big person in society has lost their life to cancer, then we are all out there talking so much about this concern and how we're going to add oncological centers, how we're going to advance this and everything. What is this that we are perhaps not doing right beyond the element of research, beyond the element of education, that perhaps maybe the private sector could be getting right compared to it? And why is it that we always then send our patients to India? What is this that they're doing that we are not doing?
You know, we need to understand, I come from AKU. It is a private, not-for-profit entity. 40% of our margins that we make are provided into, we talked about it here, into supporting those patients who do not have the means. Mm-hmm. I think the private sector is often very efficient. It is money-driven to be able to save money, but also save lives at the same time. So when we invest, for example, we heard the representative of the government says we put all these CAT scans and the PET scans and the SBRTs everywhere, but we do not have the resources. It's like having a machine gun, but no operator. Mm-hmm. The private sector asks the question a different way around. They say, before I invest in a big SBRT, what is the implementation science? What are the staff we need, the training we need, and who should be using SBRT to be very efficient? I think those are things that the government could learn from the private sector, in the sense that you are money conscious, efficient, and yes, you will make a profit. In the case of AKU, we turn the profit back to be able to help the resources of the patient that we serve. And I think everywhere you go in this world, the private sector has the efficiency model very right. But to be fair, the government has to deal with the entire populace. And the entire populace is often very impoverished, a very small percent of patients who can afford everything. So the government has a tough job to do. But I believe what we call public-private partnerships. We heard the government gave PET scans and CT scans to 4 centers. I've not seen the government give a CT scan to the Kenya University to say, here, we will donate this CT scan, teach us how to be efficient and make it better for our patients. Mm-hmm. So I would like to see more public-private partnerships that we can then show the government how to be more efficient, and the government get from us how we can better serve the patient of this country.
Mm-hmm. We have CHPs, I believe, on the audience side. I would love for them to as well highlight just